Boys State Basketball Tournament continues as we remain in the Class C2 bracket, getting set for a Welcome to Lincoln Southeast High School as NCN's coverage of the 2020 Boys State Basketball Tournament continues as we remain in the Class C2 bracket, getting set for a quarterfinal matchup between the 5-seeded Ponca Indians and the number 4 seed Yutan Chieftains. We welcome you into our pregame show, which is brought to you today by Pinnacle Bank of Beatrice. They're proud to be a part of your community. They're committed to bringing you banking the way it should be. Alex Loroff tagging in for Hunter Arterburn alongside Randy Brown, as kind of get my thoughts collected here, as Hunter did a great job taking us through our first 3 games of the day. But Randy, we have some great games coming up the rest of the day here at Lincoln Southeast High, as we have another 4-5 matchup on the way with a couple of evenly matched teams in Ponca and Yutan, and a rematch of last year's Class C2 semifinal round.
Well, we've had great 1-8 matchups today so far. So to have another 4-5, the last one we had came down to the very end of the ball game. I don't expect this one to be much different.
No, it should be a great matchup here this afternoon. The winner goes on to play GICC tomorrow in the Class C2 semifinals at the Bob Devaney Sports Center, a game we will have for you on News Channel Nebraska, as we have had every game here today in the quarterfinal round. We will have every game the rest of the day for free, no charge whatsoever if you watch online through the NFHS network. We have games on TV, online, on our partner cable system, Allo Communications, and we have a great crowd on hand here, Randy, as we talked about it throughout the day, just the fan restrictions here at the state tournament these next couple of days. But if you just hear the crowd behind us, it doesn't seem like there's any sort of restriction here today, and really all the games today, it's been great crowds throughout the day at Lincoln Southeast.
It has. It's been a great environment. The ones that were here, albeit limited, they have been loud and supportive, and the teams have reacted to it, and we've had some great games. And as you can hear, we still got a loud crowd.
We would like to recognize a couple of our other sponsors here today, Lavander's Body Shop as well as Midwest Bank, bringing you high school basketball here today, state tournament basketball here today as well as tomorrow. We'll take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll get you the starting lineups for both Ponca and Yutan and get you set for the opening tip as the Class C2 quarterfinals continue here on News Channel Nebraska.
We unleash abundant local assets,
inspire charitable giving,
and connect ambitious people
to build stronger communities.
Your heart. We're to achieve the cardiovascular.
Keep your family for Beatrice.
Named for the unbroken, fertile ground. Rest assured, your
Welcome back on News Channel Nebraska to our pregame show, which is also brought to you today by Columbus Motor Company, your Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram dealer, where you'll find one low price, plain and simple, always. Alex Loroff, Randy Brown here at Lincoln Southeast High School, just a couple of minutes away from the opening tip between Yutan and Ponca. And while we have a moment, let's just take a look at the starting lineups for both of these teams, Randy, which are brought to you today by Brian Health. Brian forward together, starting with the road team on the scoreboard today. For the Ponca Indians, head coach Adam Pulaski will start. Number 11, junior Caden Phillips. Number 15, the senior Brandon Kneifel. Number 21, the junior Briar Bennett. Number 31, senior Paul Mason. And senior number 41, Carter Kingsbury, who averages 21 points per game for these Ponca Indians. And Randy, looking at this starting 5, you have 3 different players on this Ponca squad who average double-figure points per game. A very deep team is Ponca this year.
Well, actually, you look up and down, both teams have 3 double-digit scores. They have almost identical records. I'm pumped. I'm looking forward to this game.
And speaking of the Yutan Chieftains, on the other side, head coach Justin Peterson today will start senior number 0, Trey Knutson, senior number 1, Will Hayes, junior number 3, Brady Tim, sophomore number 4, Samuel Peterson, and senior number 24, Colby Takota. Round out the starting lineup. The leading scorer for Yutan this year is Trey Knutson, averaging 14 a game. Right behind him, Brady Tim averages 13, and then Colby Takota averages 11 for the Chieftains. And I mentioned it briefly, Randy. These two teams met last year in the Class C2 semifinal round, in which Yutan defeated Ponca by a score of 46-42 to advance to the C2 state title game. It was a game where Yutan held the lead following the first and second quarters. Ponca was able to get up in front at the end of the third period, but the Chieftains outscored the Indians 16-9 in the final quarter to come away with the victory and the state final berth. So I'm sure revenge is on the mind of Ponca here today, getting a chance to avenge that semifinal loss here against the Chieftains.
Oh, I'm sure they would love to do that, as we were looking at the numbers, and all the numbers in the book are wrong. I think they got new uniforms before the state tournament.
Definitely seems that way. Ponca looking very sharp here today in front of plenty of family fans who have come out here today, because that's the only fans that are being allowed in here, the immediate family members, and there's plenty on both sides.
As I mentioned to Hunter a little bit earlier, some of these players have big families, because there's quite a few people here for just that immediate family only, and administrators, etc., to come in here or be allowed in here to support their team.
And maybe a little bit of a stretch of the old immediate family member rule, but nonetheless, it is now time for you folks at home to enjoy the game, thanks to United Healthcare, where small towns matter. Some March Madness here in the state of Nebraska, as we just found out a few moments ago that the traditional March Madness tournament unfortunately has been canceled. It's our first quarter today, brought to you by Region 4 Behavioral Health System, as the news just continues to just escalate as far as this coronavirus situation is concerned, as the D1 men's and women's basketball tournaments have been canceled officially for this year. So just, tough news for so many different areas across the country.
Oh, absolutely, and it sounds like College World Series is in that category too.
But for now, the NSAA State Basketball Tournament is still going on as scheduled, and Trey Knudsen gets this game off on the right foot for the Chieftains. Strong take to the basket as he banks it up and in.
Chieftains come out man-to-man, get a steal.
Knudsen again, the rip, but then great defense on the other end by Brandon Kneifel, tracking down Knudsen, not allowing him with the easy lay-in, and the Chieftains will inbound. Great aggressive play early on by the senior Trey Knudsen, as the Chieftains have an early advantage on our Faith Regional Health Services scoreboard. Another take is turned away as Brady Tim gets it back out to Knudsen. You have Carter Kingsbury sort of being a rim protector right now. Now he kind of moves away from the lane as Ponca, a man-to-man type look, as that pull-up jumper will be short by Tim. And the rebound is pulled away by the Indians. Caden Phillips looking to go coast to coast. He's turned away. Goes back up top. Nice swing by the Indians. Three from the corner is off the mark. Rebound belongs to Yutan. Good offense there by Ponca, but Brandon Kneifel not quite able to knock down that triple from the corner. Yutan works it around. Tim will drive. Contested shot won't fall, but the rebound is tipped back out for a three that rattles out for Knudsen. Rebound belongs to Ponca on the other side. Carter Kingsbury controls. He averages 21 points per game this year, Randy. He's kind of the go-to guy for the Ponca Indians, who continue to work things around very well, as that deep three was off the mark from NBA range. Did Briar Bennett fire that one? Skip across court, looking down towards the post. Not a lot of room there for Colby Takota. The ball knocked out of bounds by Ponca. So after that quick start by Yutan, both defenses settling in a little bit over the last minute. Get a nice look there at our replay, which is brought to you by Woodhouse Auto Family. As that three-pointer knocked down, and Yutan continues to increase its advantage. Now 5-0. Ponca looks to respond on the other end. Nice passing by the Indians. That shot will roll in for Briar Bennett, the junior, who averages 7 points per game for Ponca. Yutan now looks to the side at head coach Justin Peterson, as the control is Brady Tim. He averages 13 points per game for these Chieftains, who enter in 22-3 overall on the year. Nice passing there by Yutan, but just couldn't quite finish it off. Good Tim. Ponca brings it up, looking to possibly tie the game on this possession. That pull-up jumper, no good from Kneifel.
Came down on the end line.
Yeah, a bit of a mental miscue there by Yutan. So Ponca will get another opportunity offensively following the quick turnover by the Chieftains after they were able to crash the boards on the Kneifel miss. We have a foul call here. That'll be charged against the Chieftains. That'll be going against Samuel Peterson, the sophomore. (5-2) is the lead for Yutan, and the home team on your scoreboard here this afternoon. Actually, they changed it to Brady. Tim is charged with that foul as the referee coming over and conferring with the scorer's tables. That was a well-executed inbound play with the pass going right to Brandon Kneifel for the score. Kneifel's bucket cuts this to a 1-point game, approaching 5 minutes remaining in our opening quarter. 5 by Tim goes to the corner, 3 on the way. A little strong there from Will Hayes. Quickly, Ponca gets it up court. The attack, but not quite able to finish there, could Caden Phillips. And now Yutan brings it up with Tim. Fast-paced action in our opening quarter as Tim gets all the way to the rack, turned away by Kingsbury. Kick out 3 on the way, and that is knocked down by Colby Tricota. The senior averages 11 a game and knocks down that triple.
That's his second triple of the ball game.
Tricota starting out hot from beyond the arc as he puts Yutan up now 8-4 as we approach the halfway point of our opening quarter. Kingsbury goes down low as that shot is blocked as I think another one of our sponsors here today, Platte Valley Bank, one of our many great sponsors of high school basketball here at the 2020 NSAA State Basketball Tournament, as Kingsbury with the crossover is all the way down to the baseline, readjusts but can't quite get that shot to fall. Gets the ball back though off the miss, still working against 2 different Chieftains. Finally he draws the foul, but great work by the senior Carter Kingsbury in the post.
Got 3 opportunities at that one and still didn't get it, but he's going to the line. Foul going to be the first whistled on Dakota.
Now they'll get the replay as Kingsbury just stays battling there in the post, as our replays this afternoon are brought to you by Woodhouse Ford South. Shop Woodhouse today at woodhouse.com and experience the Woodhouse difference. So Randy, bit of a fast-paced start. Actually, the tempo kind of going back and forth between feeling out process between these 2 teams, and the pace will quicken for a couple of minutes as both of these teams, as we mentioned, pretty evenly matched here in the early going.
First round games, often a lot of adrenaline at the beginning of a basketball game. Especially at the state tournament.
Absolutely. Even, again, this atmosphere, maybe a little less than it has been in years past, without the pep bands, without the cheerleaders, without all the pomp and circumstance, but it's still a great atmosphere here at Lincoln Southeast today, as it has been across all of the sites despite the fan restrictions. And both these teams still playing like it is that state tournament atmosphere, which it absolutely still is. Yutan works it around. Dakota back out to Tim. He lost his footing as he was driving in. Yutan fans want a foul. The ball ends up in the hands of Knutson, whose 3 is short. Rebound belongs to Paul Mason. Another empty trip for Yutan, who started out this quarter pretty strongly, but kind of cooled from the field since the opening couple of shots. Ponca now staying patient, working the offensive set. They go to the corner, do the Indians, really nowhere to go. So they work things back around. Mason looking into the post for Aiden Anderson. Ends up back up top for Brandon Kneifel. Good defense here by Yutan, as there's just no clean looks for Ponca right now. Mason will pull up for a deep 3, but rattles that one in. We have a tie ball game as Paul Mason pulls the trigger and nails it. Confident shot by Mason. Yutan on the other end looks to answer. Tim drives around Mason. Ball ends up in the far side for a 3. That one knocked down by Joel Pleskach. The senior Pleskoch knocks down the triple. Yutan back in front, 11-8, under 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Into the post for Anderson. Good job getting around Colby Trakota. And the basket there for the junior Aiden Anderson. And now a steal by Ponca as the pace continues to quicken between these two teams. Knutson comes away with a steal there. Looks to go coast to coast, and he'll bank that one in as Carter Kingsbury didn't want to give up an easy foul there and just let Knutson just score that bucket.
Both teams with 3 turnovers here in the first quarter.
Now the Yutan fans trying to fire up their team as they get back defensively. Minute 15 and counting in the first quarter. It's Yutan owning a 13-10 lead over the Ponca Indians. Again, winner of this ball game takes on top-seeded GICC in the semifinals tomorrow. As that triple is a little strong from Kneifel. Skying up for the rebound there was Knutson. Now Tim, nice bounce pass there to Trakota. And Colby Trakota showing some nice patience there and banking that one in.
He's got 8 of the Chieftain 15.
Our first quarter is also brought to you today by Nebraska Loves Public Schools. To see what happens every day in our public schools, watch their films at iloveps.org. Fast-paced first quarter as we have about 30 seconds remaining in this opening frame and a 5-point Yutan lead. Ponca again continues to work things around. This zone defense has been very tight from Yutan with a man-to-man look as well. Kind of been flipping back and forth here in this first quarter. Kingsbury drives, attacks right at Colby Trakota, gets the basket to go and the foul. Opportunity and a 3-point play for Carter Kingsbury. So Trakota called for the foul. That's his second foul, Randy, so he's the leading scorer in this opening quarter, but picked up a couple of fouls already.
And with 14 seconds to go here in the first, I'm surprised he's still on the floor.
Kingsbury at the line will convert the 3-point play.
His 4th point of the ball game.
Yutan with the last shot of the quarter here, leading by 2. Knutson will drive, puts up the floater. Pretty move from Trey Knutson. That falls for the senior. Final shot of the quarter won't fall for the Ponca Indians. And we head to quarter number 2 with the Yutan Chieftains leading this one 17-13. We'll be back here on News Channel Nebraska.
Incredible care, incredibly close.
Injury for children, adult
In Norfolk, news that will keep
locations in Fairbury, Beatrice, Nebraska City, and 3 locations here in Lincoln. Alex Loroff alongside Randy Brown as we begin the second quarter of what has been an entertaining game thus far between Yutan and Ponca. Ponca comes in 23-4 on the year. Yutan comes in at 22-3. Both these teams on some nice rolls. Ponca has won 6 of its last 7 games. Yutan has won 6 straight. And Ponca, a bit of a new lease on life. They actually lost to BRLD in the sub-district final, but were able to qualify for a district final as a wild card, defeating Amherst to earn this berth into the state tournament. Their 4th straight, as the Indians are 3-time state champions, last winning a title in 2018. They actually won back-to-back titles in 17 and 18, so a rich history here in Lincoln for this Ponca team.
And we're going to see BRLD later on.
Yeah, BRLD on an incredible roll. They're actually to be the next game we have for you here on NCN, looking for their 50th, you heard that right, folks, 50th straight victory here today. But as far as this game is concerned, Carter Kingsbury cuts the Yutan lead down to 2 as he banks that one in. And a steal by Ponca, another opportunity for the Indians, but that'll be a travel called on Kingsbury. The officials say he shuffled his feet following that pump fake.
5 turnovers apiece. 2-point ball game, 5 turnovers apiece, as even as we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, 17-15 is the lead for Yutan, making its 14th appearance here at state and 3rd in a row. Last year advanced, as we mentioned before, to the C2 state title game, losing to BRLD. Yutan last won the state title in 1924, winning the Class E state championship. Not even going to pretend what the classes were like back then. Is Class E, I've seen some Class H's looking through some state histories. those old-time games, I'm not entirely sure how it all worked back in that day, Randy, but I know how it works now, and Yutan has had a nice history in the last couple of years here at State, and that was a nice play there that did not quite result in a basket from Paul Mason.
See if Ponca stays in that zone that they were in last trip down.
Looks like they pretty much did there as Brady Tim had a nice lane to the basket, but just couldn't quite finish that play off. Had a good look at it, just left it short. Ponca now looking to work things around. They go to Kneifel on the far side. And now Mason, as, again, the lane has been pretty hard for Ponca to find points in at this juncture. As this Yutan defense has been very strong thus far, but Carter Kingsbury muscles his way in, skips to the corner. Kneifel will drive, puts up a floater, and somehow that one falls for the senior Brandon Kneifel. And then a steal there on the inbound. Paul Mason comes away with a turnover as this Ponca team remains aggressive with a chance to take the lead on this possession. Indians now slowing down the pace. Caden Phillips controls from the point. Yutan has yet to score in the second quarter as that three was a little strong from Mason. Yutan controls the rebound. Some great basketball here being played in this Class C2 quarterfinal round. And head coach Justin Peterson will call a timeout for the Yutan Chieftains. 5 minutes remaining in the second quarter. We'll be back with more high school basketball here on News Channel Nebraska.
Playbaugh Pharmacy provides you with all the online.
Nebraska, today's broadcast is made possible thanks to Nebraska Community Foundation. No dream is too big. Community Foundation. No dream is too big. For Greater Nebraska, turn up your dream switch and visit nebraskahometown.org. Alex Loroff alongside Randy Brown. And Randy, as we have about 5 minutes left in this second quarter, just what have been your initial impressions of this game, of these two teams in this 4-5 matchup we've seen thus far?
You know what? Both teams defensively, I like the way they're playing. They scrap hard. They make it difficult for the other team. Right now, I think Ponca is executing their offense a little bit better than Yutan is, but that could change. It has all day long.
Yeah, Yutan got out to a great start offensively. Been a little cold in the last few minutes of the first quarter, and then here in the second quarter is that lay-in a little strong from Brady Tim, and the Chieftains have still been held scoreless in the second quarter as we're coming up on the halfway point.
I think Ponca's defense is making Yutan go a little quicker than they're comfortable offensively right now.
And I'm sure that's what head coach Justin Peterson was talking about during that timeout, as that was a great spin move, but Caden Phillips couldn't quite get that one to fall.
You get those kind of looks, you got to convert them.
Especially in a game like this, do or die situation, 4-5 matchup, you need to make every possession count here at the state tournament. Yutan, great job there working around the arc, try to find the open lane to the basket. Turned away, but a nice pass there to the cutting Trey Knutson, who scores off the glass. Samuel Peterson finding Knutson going right down the lane for the score.
He's got 8 points in the ball game, and somebody made a defensive mistake because he was wide open in the middle.
Now a deep three on the other end. That one is off the mark, but the offensive rebound pulled down by Caden Phillips off the Briar Bennett miss. The deep lob into the paint was a little too high to be hauled in, so the Indians turn it over after Caden Phillips couldn't quite grab that pass. Tim drives and kicks to the far side. Three on the way, off the mark from Knutson. Rebound to Paul Mason as the Indians looking to tie or take the lead on this possession. It's been that sort of a back and forth game in this first half as we approach 3 minutes remaining. Nice pass to Paul Mason down low, but better defense there as the kick out is to Caden Phillips, and the junior knocks down the triple to give Ponca the lead once again.
His first points of the ball game.
Yutan maybe thought about the answer there with Will Hayes in the corner. Ponca's outscored Yutan 7-2 in this second period as they lead 20-19. Pull-up jumper on the way, a little strong there from Dakota, but the offensive rebound Tim drives in, kicks out to Will Hayes. His three on the way, and he knocks down a triple. Does the senior Will Hayes.
His first points of this ball game, and we got a dandy, Alex.
Yeah, everyone chipping in on both sides for both Yutan and Ponca as the Chieftains right back on top, 22-20. Another three from the corner. That one a little strong, though, from Kneifel. Yutan brings it back up. Hayes will try another triple. That one, though, is long, and it falls right into the hands of Briar Bennett. Our broadcast today is also brought to you by Stealth Broadband, proudly serving parts of Northeast Nebraska as Caden Phillips serves up a basket there, slicing his way into the lane, and he banks it in to tie the game.
He's now got 5, all here in the second quarter.
22 all Yutan and Ponca. This was a 4-point game a year ago with the Chieftains winning 46-42 in the semifinal round. They meet in the quarters this year, and it's just as good of a contest. Dakota, nowhere to go, kicks out for a three, and that one is knocked down by Trey Knudsen. Nails his first triple of the ball game.
In double figures already with 11.
What a first half this has been as the Chieftains back on top, 25-22, under a minute remaining in the quarter. As Kingsbury just had the ball completely taken away from him, but then Paul Mason comes away with another steal, and he banks it in. These teams continue to trade baskets back and forth. What a first half of basketball we have seen here on News Channel Nebraska. Exactly what state tournament basketball is all about. Hayes drives baseline, his pass back to Dakota was nearly knocked away. Kick out to Knudsen, his three was short. A nice tip back out to Tim as he can't quite connect on that triple. And we have a foul called against Yutan as Knudsen came flying in to try and get the loose ball. Actually, rather, Samuel Peterson will be called for that foul. Both Peterson and Knudsen came flying in that direction. It'll be Peterson charged with that foul, his first, and pretty clean first half, all things considered, Randy, as far as the fouls are concerned.
This is kind of like a heavyweight fight.
Yeah.
Both teams delivering blows and nobody backing down.
Just body shot after body shot, and this both teams just absorbing it the whole way through. As far as the fouls are concerned, Yutan with 4 fouls in this first half. No fouls committed by the Ponca Indians in this first half thus far. Kingsbury will drive, kicks to the corner, 3 on the way from Mason, not off the mark. Battle for the loose ball, and Tim comes away with it. Last shot of the quarter will be a little strong from Brady Tim, and we finally have a chance to catch our collective breaths as we head to halftime. The Yutan Chieftains lead the Ponca Indians 25-24 in an incredible first half of basketball action. And I'm sure it'll be just as good of a second half as we continue with our coverage of the Class C2 quarterfinal round. You're watching High School Hoops on News Channel Nebraska.
Getting into the bank business was by accident.
Agriculture has always been kind of the foundation of this bank, where it all started.
Employee at Bryan, we believe here. College of Health Science, approximately. This is
Drivetrain, Norfolk Autos.
Information or learn more at Husker.
Bank is the best bank.
Full of vendors.
We're committed.
It shouldn't cost you much, are just one of the great benefits of banking with us. Stop by to talk to one of our friendly associates.
Welcome back on News Channel Nebraska. We are at the half between Yutan and Ponca. Alex Loroff alongside Randy Brown here at Lincoln Southeast High School, where we have seen a day full, Randy, or you've seen a day full as you've been here at the booth all day long. You've seen some incredible basketball here today between the first 3 games we have covered, and now here with game number 4, just a strong first half by both of these teams. So take us through just some of the leaders at this point between the 4 and 5 seed.
Well, I tell you what, Ponca, and I mentioned it, I thought they were executing offensively a little bit better than Yutan. And when you look at the stats, they've got 6 people in the scoring column compared to only 4 for Yutan. Yutan led by the 11 points of Knudsen as he hit 5 in that second quarter, 3 deuces in the first. But pretty even scoring when you look up and down Ponca. Kingsbury leads the way with 6 points, and Phillips and Mason each with 5, but everybody's getting involved in the game right now. For Ponca, they trail by 1, but right now they're playing a little bit better on the offensive end, I think, than Yutan is.
Yeah, Ponca has really been able to spread things out. Yutan on the other side, besides Knutson, as you mentioned, the only other top scorer at this point, Colby Takota got out to a great start in that first quarter, but he got into some foul trouble and sort of went cold after that point.
He did, and you start being a little bit cautious. Often your offense follows how you play on the defensive end of things, and when you get in a little foul trouble and you have to back off a little bit, you tend to be a little less aggressive on the offensive end also, and it carries on over. It's going to be a fun second half, though.
Going to be a great second half. It was also a great first half, and while we have a moment, let's take a look at some of those highlights from that first half of play between the Ponca Indians and the Yutan Chieftains, as our first half highlights here today are brought to you by Anderson Ford, Lincoln Kia of Grand Island, as right away Trey Knutson got off this game on the right foot for the Yutan Chieftains with the score to put Yutan up in the early going. And from that point, you mentioned it, Yutan was a little off balance offensively, but they had the big plays that you saw from Knutson and Takota.
They were the ones that kind of led the way. That's 19 of this 25 points.
Then Ponca would start their scoring going. Briar Bennett with that bucket there in the paint on the other side for the Indians. Great inbound play there from Kingsbury, finding Brandon Kneifel with the quick bucket. Great play design by the Ponca Indians as these two teams would continue to trade baskets back and forth. Another triple knocked down by the senior Colby Takota as the Chieftains would remain on top. But then the answer on the other end, 3 from the corner by the senior Paul Mason for the Ponca Indians. And then the post-game worked here and there for Ponca, and I think that might be something they want to go back to in the second half, as Aiden Anderson had the score for Ponca, and the other end for Yutan. The basket there for Takota again. He gets 8 points on the day. And then Carter Kingsbury, you mentioned he leads the way with 6, but he averages 21 per game, Randy. I think he's going to be the guy the Indians really need to get going in the second half.
Oh, I think you're absolutely right. When you have someone like that on your team, all season long, when the chips are down, that's who you look for. And their chips aren't down. They're only down 1 point here, but they need to get him going and maybe come out with the one of the first plays, get something for him to get him off and running.
Some more highlights here from that first half. Triple knocked down by Caden Phillips. Both teams knocking down a handful of threes from that first half, shooting pretty well from beyond the arc. The answer on the other end by Will Hayes of Yutan. The senior averages about 9 points per game, knocking down that triple. Nice take there by Caden Phillips for the score as Phillips got himself going towards the tail end of that first half. Another triple that time by Will Hayes, or rather Knutson knocked down that 3. Hayes had the previous one. Nice rip there by Yutan. Had some great defense, but ended up in the hands of Mason, was able to score that basket. So those are some of those highlights in the first half, brought to you again by Anderson Ford Lincoln Kia of Grand Island. See their huge selection of new and used cars and trucks on Deers Avenue, proudly serving the GI, Hastings, and Kearney areas, and a proud supporter of area athletes. Visit AndersonofGrandIsland.com. So a couple of minutes away from the start of the third quarter, we'll take a quick break and be back with the second half of action between Yutan and Ponca here on News Channel Nebraska.
It's in our passion. It's in our achievements. It's in our architecture and our heritage. It's in the way we innovate and discover. It's how we engage and inspire. It's time to experience it for yourself. Peru State College.
We offer Husker choice.
News Channel Nebraska about to begin the third quarter between Ponca and Yutan. And our third quarter here today is brought to you by Region 4 Behavioral Health System, as you get a good look at some of the fans who have come out here today for the Ponca Indians supporting their squad, as again a lot of big immediate families here, as we talked about a little earlier, Randy. Alex Loroff, Randy Brown here at Lincoln Southeast High School, who have been so accommodating all day long for our last minute setup squad, as again a lot of big immediate families here, as we talked about a little earlier, Randy. Alex Loroff, Randy Brown here at Lincoln Southeast High School, who have been so accommodating all day long for our last-minute setup here to bring you all 6 games from Lincoln Southeast here today as we start the third quarter off with a Ponca foul. That'll be charged to Carter Kingsbury. He was not a fan of that call. He thought he got all ball on that block.
I'm not so sure he didn't, but I'm sure we'll see a replay here soon.
Free
Replay here soon.
free throw attempt there by Brady Tim. He knocks down the first, and Randy, if I'm not mistaken, I believe these are the first free throw attempts of the game for the Yutan Chieftains.
It is. First foul of the ball game on Ponca.
Ponca playing very clean basketball throughout that first half.
First fouls that they were called for.
Very true, very true. As being official is the toughest game in the book, and I guess they just didn't see any fouls on Ponca's end in that first half as that ball knocked out of bounds by Yutan, says the officials, so it will stay.
I think the officials might get together. Well,
we'll see what they confer here.
It's going to be Ponca ball.
Yeah, the fans behind us, not a fan of there not being a call on that last play, but nonetheless, the officials just say it was out of bounds off of Yutan, so we'll reset with Ponca in the offensive possession. Kingsbury controls, looking to cross up Tim. Good moves here by Carter Kingsbury, backing his way into the lane. Fadeaway jumper was a little strong. Rebound to Colby.
One reason Kingsbury hasn't finished up the first half with only 6 points, Yutan is paying an awful lot of attention to him.
Yeah, a double team there on that last take by Kingsbury. As on the other end, that three did not connect for Will Hayes. Going up for the rebound there was Paul Mason.
But I'm sure they're not the first team that's done that either.
Oh, Carter Kingsbury is really the go-to force for this Ponca team. We mentioned that the senior averages 21 points per game and 7 rebounds for this Ponca team. Just crazy numbers for a high school senior to put up. Ponca staying patient. They give to Phillips. He'll spin his way into the lane. Nice move, and Hayden Phillips will be rewarded with the basket on the friendly bounce.
He's got 7 in the ball game.
Ponca continues to spread the wealth as far as the offense is concerned, as on the far end we have a block called against Carter Kingsbury on the baseline drive by Brady Tim. Another close call by the officials to make, as this broadcast today is also brought to you by Platte Valley Bank. Again, that's one of those bang-bang type plays where it's just the hardest play to call in basketball.
Tough call to play, but more often than not, the offense gets the benefit of the doubt on those, right or wrong.
That is very true. I know in my limited officiating experience of intramural basketball officiating in college, that was always my toughest play to call were those block charges, as that was a great play there off the inbound. Samuel Peterson with the pass, and he banks it in.
His first 2 points of the afternoon.
Yutan back up by 3, 29-26 is what a block there by Trey Knutson, denying Brandon Kneifel on the take. Tim now will drive for the Chieftains, goes right at Kingsbury. Good defense that time by Carter Kingsbury, going straight up to affect the shot. He spins his way down on the other end. But a good defense there by Tim, not allowing any space for Kingsbury to keep taking it to the basket. Mason now down low for Phillips, and he's blocked from behind by Takota. Loose ball initially ended up in the hands of Mason, and Ponca will keep possession. Kneifel thought about a 3. Now he found some space, pulls the trigger and rattles it in. Does Brandon Kneifel, the senior, great patience shown to tie the ball game with that 3. Third triple of the ball game the Indians have connected on, and once again, we are all knotted up. This just feels like the sort of game, Randy, that's going to go down to the wire, even though we still have a quarter and a half remaining.
Well, we said that was going to be the case at the top.
And again, those 4 or 5 matchups, it's just like the 8-9 matchups in the NCAA tournament, as that runner will go for Brady Tim. The short little push shot rattles in for the junior.
He's got 4 now, all coming here in the third quarter.
Tim starting to fire up. He is averaging 13 per game for these Yutan Chieftains, who once again are in the lead, now 31-29. Good defense there by Tim, going right at Caden Phillips, trying to come away with a steal, but it is Ponca ball. Maybe a sub coming in, and a sub did come in the last couple of moments there from head coach Adam Pulaski of the Ponca Indians. Aiden Anderson, the 6-foot junior, returns to the ball game for Ponca. We approach the halfway point of quarter number 3. And now a foul off the ball. That's going to be called on Carter Kingsbury. I believe it was called for
3.
Yeah, hooking up Brady Tim, it looked like, as Kingsbury and Tim were kind of battling back and forth, and it's Kingsbury who, as you mentioned, Randy, picks up his 3rd foul.
That's going to be huge for Ponca.
Kingsbury has been held scoreless in this 3rd quarter, and that quickly after the Indians had no fouls in the first half. They now have 3 in the first half of this 3rd quarter. Is Kingsbury, though, that time came away with a block on Colby Takota.
I'm not so sure, but what Phillips didn't get that flying by.
Phillips might have as well. He had both in the area. It was a great defensive play all around by Ponca, as Phillips, though, that time just couldn't quite get that to fall on that baseline take. It was a good move there by Caden Phillips, just bad luck. Now the Chieftains control, still in front, 31-29. Back out, thought about a 3 did Hayes. Peterson, nice crossover move there. The give to Takota, a little short though. Kingsbury the board. Kingsbury looks so coast to coast, but he's initially turned away, and then a foul called against Yutan. Samuel Peterson will be charged for that foul after he thought he came away with a clean steal. Yeah, that's a close one there, just looking at the replay.
And I think he did get the steal.
And between both Peterson and Tim both pressuring Kingsbury, and there was enough contact for the official to call a foul. As our broadcast today is also brought to you by our friends at Fireplace Stone and Patio, one of our many great sponsors of high school basketball here on News Channel Nebraska, as Yutan leads Ponca 31-29, as that will be a jump ball called, as Takota initially blocking Caden Phillips. Ball was still kind of hanging up in the air, and the official said that both teams were able to get a hand on it. And
I'm not going to question.
Yeah, possession arrow does favor Ponca. And that shot missed by Mason. Obviously, the fans behind us, just listening to some of the reactions, not a big fan of some of the calls that have been made the last couple of minutes, but nonetheless, Yutan leads by 2, and then another foul called against Ponca. That'll be charged to Paul Mason.
Just his first.
Yeah, now some fouls starting to, or some calls in general, starting to go against Ponca here in this 3rd quarter, as they have 4 fouls to Yutan's 1. But a nice steal there on the inbound by Briar Bennett, and then a foul called against Yutan. That'll be charged to Trey Knutson. First foul there on Knutson, the second team foul for Yutan in this second half. So the pace starting to slow up a bit as we're starting to see the fouls now rack up on either side. And Yutan leads by 2. And there's another foul. That'll be a block called against Joe Lescat of Yutan.
You kind of get the impression that this game was starting to get a little bit physical, and it has been all game. And the officials now want to take control of this game.
And certainly the officials starting to call some fouls a little more regularly, but that was a great play there on the pass by Aiden Anderson, finding Brandon Kneifel under the basket for the score.
He's now got 9, and we're tied.
Back on the other end, another foul called against Ponca on the Brady Tim drive. And that'll be charged to Paul Mason. So they say 31, not 41, as it was both Kingsbury and Mason in that area. But Mason picks up his second, and Ponca picks up its fifth. Knudsen controls for Yutan. We are all tied up 31 apiece. Pull-up jumper short from the senior Knudsen, and the Indians bring it up. Or Kingsbury running the point here for the Indians, trying to play off the screen. Back to Anderson. He will drive. Puts up a wild shot attempt. Nice contest by Joel Pleskatch, and he comes away with the loose ball. Under 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Fairly low scoring period by both teams. 7 for Ponca, 6 for Yutan. That ball knocked out of bounds by the Chieftains. Ponca will have it back the other way.
I have that as the 9th turnover for Yutan. I have Ponca for 10. So 31-31. Turnovers are within 1. Fouls are close.
And again, just continues to lend credence to the whole evenly matched thing we've been talking about all game long. Some different styles by both teams, but they are still very similar in a lot of ways. Now we have a foul here called against Yutan on that far side as the ball was getting passed around. That's going to be charged to Brady Tim. He's going to be called for a hold. At the second foul on Tim and the fourth against Yutan.
And they have really started to call this a whole lot closer. They did not want this game to get away from them.
That'll be a travel there called on Kingsbury as he was trying to prevent a steal there by the Chieftains. Did end up with the ball in his hands and fell to the ground, and the travel was called.
Not much contact. Kingsbury went to the floor, and when he rolled over, it's a travel.
And you mentioned about just the tighter calling of just this quarter alone. Only 4 fouls combined in that first half. We have 9 fouls combined just in this third quarter. Yutan with a chance to retake the lead on this possession. Knudsen thought about a drive. Instead, the Chieftains will continue to work. Peterson will drive, kicks to the corner, 3 on the way, and that one is off the mark by Hayes. It'll roll out of bounds. Ball will belong to Ponca. 43 seconds left in the quarter. That is the way this game is going. You just feel a great finish coming the way this game has progressed over these first 3 quarters. We'll see if the Indians can hold for the final shot of the frame. Kneifel actually will see aggressive and drive, and that'll go out of bounds off of Yutan as Kneifel, his pass was tipped out.
Knudsen reached around, got a hand on that one, tipped it away. You keep talking about this game coming to an end. I'm not so sure I want this game to come to an end.
That is a great point, Randy. This has been some fantastic basketball between these two teams, and mentioned it, we've seen some wire-to-wire, just great games all day long so far here at Lincoln Southeast. This game is no different between the 4-seed Yutan and the 5-seed Ponca. Kingsbury nearly lost the handle. Mason got it back, went to the corner for 3, and Kneifel buries the 3, and the quarter will wind down. Last shot is fired and will not go for Yutan, and the Ponca Indians will take a 34-31 lead into the final frame of this Class C2 quarterfinal matchup. We'll be back with more action from Lincoln Southeast here on News Channel Nebraska.
Agriculture has always been kind of the foundation of this bank.
60 program that's right.
In our fourth quarter today, brought to you by U-Save Pharmacy, one of our many great high school basketball sponsors here on News Channel Nebraska. 34-31 is the lead for the 5-seed Ponca. Alex Loroff alongside Randy Brown here at Lincoln Southeast. And Randy, since Yutan had a 17-13 lead to close the first quarter, Ponca has outscored the Chieftains 21-14 as we have a foul called there against Ponca, which will send Brady Tim to the line.
They've held the Chieftains to single digits in both quarters, 8 and 6.
Yeah, the defense has really been the key for Ponca as the offense has kind of continued to hum along. Yutan was hot in that opening quarter, but sort of cooled down since as Tim hits the free throw. And also surprisingly, there has been just 5 free throw attempts combined between these two teams, with number 6 coming up here. And Tim goes 2 out of 2.
And 4 out of 4 here in the second half. He's got 6 points all since halftime.
Lead is just 1 now for Ponca, 34-33. After that Brandon Kneifel triple to close out the third quarter gave the Indians the lead. But it might be deja vu for Ponca as they had a third quarter lead in the semifinal game last year against Yutan, but the Chieftains were able to outscore the Indians in that final quarter to earn the win. Ponca wanting to rewrite that history here today. Tim's drive turned away, and the ball got knocked into the hands of Kingsbury. Kingsbury running the floor, and he is run over. That'll be a foul called against Yutan. Looks like that'll be charged to Trey Knutson, and indeed it will.
His second.
And Knutson just kind of running right over Carter Kingsbury. There is Kingsbury looking to navigate his way up the floor. Fifth foul called against Yutan. Chieftains have 5 fouls as a team. Ponca has 6. So bonus free throws on the way pretty soon for both teams. Kingsbury double teamed, and then another help defender comes in, knocked the ball away, but still Kingsbury got a shot up. Couldn't connect. Mason, the offensive board, kick out 3 on the way, and it's rattled in by Caden Phillips. Knocks down the triple to increase the Ponca lead.
He's in double figures now with 10. Biggest lead of the afternoon for Ponca.
That fires up the Indian faithful here at Lincoln Southeast High School as Ponca owning a 37-33 advantage early on in the fourth quarter. Drive there by Knutson, a foul called before the shot, but it will be bonus free throws now for the Chieftains. 1-1 on the way for Knutson as that was not a shooting foul.
Reach in by Kneifel on the way by.
And if you're Ponca at this point with this 4-point lead, the way this game is going, this is not the scenario you want. Yutan at the line with a chance to cut into this deficit with the clock stopped.
12 points now in the ball game for Knutson. That's his first point since intermission.
I'll tell you this much, Randy. Whoever wins this game here today, it's going to be very tough for us to pick a player of the game with the way so many different standouts have been here in this one.
I was just thinking about that.
Kneifel will fire a 3, quick trigger, but a little strong. But Bennett able to come away with the long rebound, but just couldn't get that runner to fall. Ponca fans wanted a carry there, but Samuel Peterson just sort of lost the handle. Not quite enough for a carry to be called. Knutson now controls one-on-one with Kneifel. Good defense by Kneifel, but a foul will be called. There's some hands to the back there of Knutson as he was making that spin move. Now obviously the Ponca fans were not fans of that call, as it initially did look like great defense by the senior, but there was enough contact for the officials to warrant that whistle. Knutson now knocks down the first free throw, and you mentioned it before, but he was held scoreless in this second half until his last couple of trips to the line by Knutson as he goes 2 out of 2 on that opportunity.
And we got a 1-point ball game again.
14 points now for the senior Trey Knutson. But the Ponca Indians still on top, 37-36. Near steal there by Samuel Peterson. Did a great job getting out in front of Briar Bennett there. In a game like this, it might just come down to 1 or 2 just big plays by either side. These last 5 minutes and change are going to be something to behold as head coach Adam Pulaski calls a timeout, wants to talk things over with his team. 5:19 left to play in regulation. We'll take a quick break as well and be right back here on NCN.
We unleash abundant.
Back on News Channel Nebraska, 5 minutes and 19 seconds remain in regulation. I'd like to thank another one of our sponsors here today, which is United Healthcare, where small towns matter. Alex Loroff, Randy Brown here at Lincoln Southeast High School for the second of 4 Class C2 quarterfinal matchups we will have for you here today on NCN, as we have a foul called against Yutan. That'll be charged to Brady Tim, called for a hold, as Carter Kingsbury trying to go over to grab that pass, and the next foul by Yutan will put the Indians at the free throw line. Tim also picks up his 3rd foul, as that was a bit of a low pass there by Kingsbury, but able to corral it.
Low is a good term.
Yeah, a bit of discomfort there on the face of Carter Kingsbury, but looks to be all right as the Indians continue to work the offense. Had to pick up his dribble there, and now the Chieftains doing all they can to tighten up the defensive pressure. And right now, they've only allowed 1 field goal in this quarter to the Ponca Indians, a 3 that was hit by Caden Phillips.
I'll tell you what, Kingsbury's had a hard time because Brady Tim has done a great job playing defense against him.
Around the way by Bennett, and he knocks it down. Does the junior Briar Bennett, nails from deep, and it's back up to a 4-point Ponca lead. First point since the first quarter for Briar Bennett, and the Indians increase their advantage, approaching the halfway point of the final quarter. Tim's drive turned away, loose ball ends up in the hands of Caden Phillips, but then from behind, nice job by Will Hayes, creating a steal for the Yutan Chieftains. And now we have a foul called against Ponca, as Trey Knutson, a little off balance, making his way back the other end of the court. Kneifel called for his 3rd foul there, and Knutson back at the line for more free throws. And these have been important trips to the foul line for the Chieftains, as Knutson can't hit the front end. The next foul, though, will give double bonus opportunities to the Chieftains the rest of the way. Kingsbury brings it up, and he has the ball stolen away initially, but Brady Tim didn't quite keep it in bounds. And you mentioned the defensive pressure Tim has put on all day today, and you saw another great example of it there.
Yeah, he has made life miserable for Carter Kingsbury.
Kingsbury held to just 6 points. He has not scored since the second quarter, and we talked about it. He averages 21 per game this year, so well below that mark, but some of the slack has been picked up by guys like Brandon Kneifel and Caden Phillips. Nice pass down low to Briar Bennett. Bennett readjusts, but couldn't get that shot to fall off the glass. And losing the handle there did Tim. It ends up in the hands of Kingsbury, and then a foul called on Samuel Peterson. Did not want to give Kingsbury an easy lane at the other end, and it'll be 1-and-1 free throws here for the senior. And Brady Tim just sort of lost his own handle there on the other end of the floor, and Kingsbury did a great job having the presence of mind to recover the loose ball and be able to get this opportunity at the line. He knocks down the first, these are the first free throw attempts of the second half for the Indians, as this game is also brought to you by Stealth Broadband, proudly serving parts of Northeast Nebraska, as Kingsbury goes 2 out of 2 at the stripe. 8 points now for Carter Kingsbury. It's up to a 6-point lead for Ponca, approaching 3 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. 3 on the way, but that one does not fall for Colby Takota. But the Chieftains did a great job being able to track down that loose ball and get another possession. Pull-up jumper on the way, and that's a deep 2 for Brady Tim. And then a timeout called by head coach Justin Peterson and the Yutan Chieftains. 2:52 left to play in regulation. We'll take one as well and be right back here on News Channel Nebraska.
We're committed to providing you with the highest level of service.
2 left to play in regulation. It is a 4-point lead for the Ponca Indians, Randy, as they will have the ball here following that make by Yutan, and now a full court press put on by the Chieftains.
At halftime, one of the things you asked about, and I said, don't be surprised if you see some full court pressure out of one of these two teams before this is over, and here it is.
And a quick timeout called by Coach Pulaski of the Ponca Indians. We'll just keep it here as we just came back from that timeout, and there's 2:42 left to play in regulation. A 4-point lead for Ponca, and now the press break is going to be huge for Ponca if they can find a way to navigate their way through the extra defensive pressure of Yutan. And it's a sort of play that's practiced all the time by teams, having a solid press break, knowing where everyone is on the floor to get out of those situations.
Well, and the key is you've got to have people coming back to the basketball. You have to create passing lanes, and you have to show some patience. You have a lot more time than it feels like you do. Don't get in a hurry.
Ponca inbounds from the side. It goes to Kingsbury. He controls as time is on the side of the Ponca Indians with this 4-point lead. And about 2.5 minutes remaining in the game. Mason from the top. Looks like the Indians are content just to play keep away here with Yutan. We'll see how long it takes for the Chieftains to foul to stop the clock here. We still have plenty of time left as a little more than 2 minutes remain.
And I really don't think they're trying to waste time. They're looking for something specific. Trying to get the ball to the basket. A good, solid look here. And however long it takes, it takes.
Yeah, the patience really being shown here by Ponca. Now under 2 minutes remaining, and they continue to stay in the offensive set. And there's the foul by Colby Takota, which will send Paul Mason to the free throw line for the 1-and-1. So Mason now with the 1-and-1 as Takota just picked up his third foul. Mason hits the first. These are going to be huge free throws for the Ponca Indians the rest of the way to try and lock this game down as they now lead by 5. Mason knocks down the second.
Mason pretty calm at the line for 2 minutes to go in a state tournament game.
That's that senior experience that the Ponca Indians have. Mentioned a little bit earlier, Ponca has advanced to the state tournament now 4 straight seasons, so these seniors know what it's like to play on this stage. Three from the corner is fired, and that won't fall for Will Hayes. But the offensive rebound and putback by Colby Takota. Great job there by Takota to score that basket.
Kingsbury couldn't hang on to it, and Takota made him pay. It's 10 in the ball game for Takota.
And his first point since the first quarter, and a timeout will be called here by Coach Adam Pulaski of the Ponca Indians. Full timeout with 1:15 remaining, so we'll take one as well and be right back with more fourth quarter action on News Channel Nebraska.
At Platte Valley Bank, we offer loans with competitive rates and quick decisions from
15 seconds remain in this Class C2 quarterfinal matchup. The winner will take on the top seed GICC Crusaders tomorrow at the Bob Devaney Sports Center, a game that we will have for you on News Channel Nebraska. Again, part of this unprecedented coverage that News Channel Nebraska is bringing you these next couple of days. 24 games on our network today, Randy. 12 more tomorrow. 36 games this week, where we only did 12 last week. So just an incredible feat by all of our staff here at News Channel Nebraska to bring you every single game in these first 2 days of the boys' state tournament as Ponca will take another timeout here with Yutan continuing to put on the defensive pressure, Randy, trying to come away with a quick steal, get a basket on the other end. It's been great defensive schemes the last few moments by Justin Peterson and the Chieftains.
And that's one thing that Ponca's going to have to be aware of. Yutan is going to trap the basketball. They need to stay out of trap zones. That means corners. That means out by the timeline. That means along the edge. Anytime there's a barrier or a line, it's an extra defender, and you've got to move away from the basketball, create those passing lanes, but you got to stay out of those trap zones if you're going to milk this last 1:11 off the clock.
And Ponca will still be shooting 1-and-1 free throws for now. The next foul will still be 1-and-1 bonus, but then after the following foul, it will be double bonus for the Indians. So still a chance for Yutan to get a foul and then hope that Ponca misses the front end.
But keep in mind, Ponca fouls, Yutan's going to get 2, so it's going to get them, they'll go to the double bonus, so that, with the clock stop, can get them back into a game.
Mason will inbound from the far side, gets it into Caden Phillips. Phillips finds a wide open Brandon Kneifel. Perfect design there by the Indians. Kneifel left all alone in the lane, and he scores the basket. on the other end. A foul called against Ponca. That will be charged, I believe, to Kneifel. Indeed, it will.
That's going to be his fourth.
So one more foul by Kneifel, and the leading scorer today for the Indians will be done for the game. These are now massive free throws for Trey Knudsen. 56 seconds left in regulation. He knocks down the first.
He's now 4 of 6 from the line, all here in the fourth quarter. Has not made a field goal.
And Knudsen goes perfect on that trip as well. It's a 4-point game, and now a steal by the Chieftains. 3 on the way, but Knudsen can't hit it. Kingsbury pulls down the rebound, and then a foul called against Yutan. That'll be charged to Brady Tim, and it will be 1-and-1 free throws on the other end for Carter Kingsbury.
And that's going to be the fourth foul on Tim.
And again, here for Yutan, you just have to hope Kingsbury misses this first one, get a quick shot on the other end, and reset your defensive set.
8 points on the day for Kingsbury, but he's 4 of 5 from the line.
He knocks down the first, but we have a whistle, and it's like a lane violation called against Ponca. So that shot won't count. It'll be Yutan ball following the error by the Indians.
Still a 2-possession game with only 49 seconds to go, though.
Mental miscue by Ponca gives new life to Yutan, down by 4. Nice move there by Knudsen. Splits his way through the defense down the lane. He lays it up and in. Does Trey Knudsen. First field goal of this fourth quarter. And a quick timeout called by Yutan. And Randy, that was exactly the situation the Chieftains were looking for. A quick basket and a timeout to reset things.
18 points now in the ball game for Knudsen, and the Chieftains attack the basket right away. If you don't get the field goal, you get the foul, and they were able to get the field goal. So now we still have a 1-possession game, 46-44, and a boatload of time, especially if you're Ponca with a 2-point lead. Way too much time on the clock.
Yeah, 40.6 seconds is an eternity in basketball time, and Ponca just clinging to this lead right now.
More backcourt pressure by the Chieftains.
Now goes to Phillips, finds Mason. They break the press to Kingsbury up court. Yutan trying to play for the steal here. They're not fouling as of yet. Kingsbury does lose the handle, hits the deck, and that'll be a timeout called by Ponca. Head coach Pulaski was able to get the timeout in before a jump ball could be called, and the jump ball would have kept possession with Ponca, but a heads-up play by head coach Pulaski. We'll keep it here with 29.1 seconds remaining, as we want to give you as much of this final quarter as we can, because this has been an incredible matchup between Ponca and Yutan. It has been back and forth all game long between the 4 seed and the 5 seed. Loser goes home. Winner has their state championship hopes remain alive.
Kingsbury trying to dribble through a double team that time and couldn't get through, lost the ball. Kingsbury has been doubled almost every time he puts the ball on the floor. He handles the ball very well, especially for a 6'5" kid, but Yutan has caused him an awful lot of headaches this afternoon. Now the big key is you have to get this ball in a 5-second count. Gives the ball back to Yutan.
The ball does get into Kingsbury. He is double teamed. Again, Yutan not fouling as of yet. And they get the steal. Peterson up the floor to Dakota, but he wasn't ready for the pass. But the Chieftains still able to get a shot up, and Brady Tim draws the foul. Couple of free throws on the way for Tim, as they got exactly what they needed. The steal and then a chance to tie the game.
Foul the third on Paul Mason.
Great look there at the Woodhouse Auto family replay at Tim going right at Mason. But as you mentioned, Randy picks up his third foul, and Brady Tim, ice in his veins, knocks down the first free throw.
He's 5 for 5 from the line. 9 points in the ball game. And we're tied.
Just automatic by Brady Tim, and it is a brand new ball game here at Lincoln Southeast, folks. 46 all, 17.6 seconds remaining in regulation. Full timeout called by Yutan, so we'll take one as well and be back with the final 17 seconds on News Channel Nebraska.
Welcome back to Around Our Area. I'm Mike Flood, and we're in our own backyard here in Norfolk.
Nebraska has been good to me. For our kids,
Piece, 17.6 seconds remaining in regulation here in the fourth quarter. It will be Ponca basketball following 2 free throw makes by Brady Tim to tie this game.
Did I really say earlier I didn't want this game to end?
You did. And I'm right there with you right now, Randy, as this has been an incredible matchup between these two teams. We'll see if Ponca has one last shot in them. Kingsbury turned away. He finds Mason, goes to the corner. Caden Phillips fires the 3, and he knocks it down. Caden Phillips nails the 3, and time winds down in the fourth quarter. The referee now stopping everything here as they'll confer to see if there was any time left on the clock, but what a shot by Caden Phillips.
There was .9 on the clock. When our camera scanned back around, there was .9 on the clock after that had gone down.
They'll talk things through at the scorer's table. Obviously, the triple counts for Caden Phillips, but the matter at hand is whether or not there is still time on the clock.
And they put .6 back on the clock. Wow.
Yeah, there is still time on the clock, as you saw there on our replay. Great look from our cameraman as they put .6 seconds on the board.
There we go. They had the wrong score up there.
Yeah, they had 4 points given to the Indians for that shot, but obviously it was a 3, so it's 49-46. Now the lead for the Ponca Indians after Caden Phillips, the junior, had the look from the corner and just knocked it down.
The only thing you have time for with .6 seconds is to throw the ball and tip it toward the basket. If you receive it, this game is over.
One last hope for the Yutan Chieftains. They'll lob it down on the other end of the court to Dakota. Dakota had a shot attempt. He nailed the shot, and the shot counts. The shot counts. What was it, a 2 or a 3? They'll lob it down on the other end of the court to Dakota. Dakota had a shot attempt. He nailed the shot, and the shot counts. The shot counts. What was it, a 2 or a 3? They say it was a 3 to tie the ball game for Colby Dakota.
Wow.
On the senior Mason. Tim back to the line, but he's now been a little shaky from the free throw stripe in his last couple of trips, but he knocks down the first.
.14 of the ball game now for Brady Tim.
Make that 15 as he goes perfect on that trip to the foul line. Yutan back up by 4. 45 seconds and counting in double overtime. Caden Phillips has given to Mason. Back up top for Bennett. And it's stolen away by Peterson. Peterson will now hold up to run some clock. And the Chieftains get it to Tim. Tim will drive, and there's the foul called against Ponca. I believe that will go against Caden Phillips. Indeed, Caden Phillips called for that foul, and that will send Brady Tim back to the free throw line as he can make this a 3-possession ball game if he can hit both these shots.
I'm running out of room to write his free throws down.
Getting to that point as well as Tim knocks down the first as he remains steady from the foul line. Give her some shaky moments a few trips ago, but he is refocused, but he misses the second there. 5-point lead for Ponca, or rather Yutan, as Ponca needs to cut into it as Kneifel with the nice take, but it rattles out on Kneifel. 20 seconds and counting left in double overtime. Kingsbury will be called for that foul. Tim heading back to the line, and the Chieftains now starting to breathe a little easier with a 5-point lead and 19 seconds remaining in double overtime.
And that's going to be Kingsbury's 5th foul. He's going to foul out of the ball game with 10 points.
And gets a handshake from Yutan head coach Justin Peterson. Gets a hand from all the Ponca fans here. A hard-fought game by Carter Kingsbury in his senior season for the Ponca Indians. And he has to watch as Tim can put the Chieftains up by as many as 7 as he hits the first. Tim goes 2 out of 2 on that trip. Under 20 seconds remaining in double overtime. 61-54 is the lead for Yutan, trying to survive and advance as there's a foul called on Knutson to send Kneifel to the free throw line. Kneifel at the line. He knocks down the first. Makes it a 6-point ball game, but 11.6 seconds remaining. Time not on the side of the Ponca Indians, despite Kneifel going 2 out of 2 on that trip. And then a timeout called by the Indians, down by 5 points. And if you're in this situation, Randy, when you're looking at a 2-possession ball game and just 11 seconds left on the clock, what do you think is being discussed in that Ponca timeout huddle right now?
Where to go for dinner?
Or at least just where to go just to rest their legs after this game, because it has been an incredible effort by Ponca.
2-possession game with 11 seconds to go is a absolute miracle to get back into this, because first of all, you don't have possession, so you're going to foul, and if they miss the free throw or both free throws, you're 90 feet away. So it's a big mountain to climb for Ponca right now, and it's got to feel like the rug was just pulled out from under them the way regulation ended and in overtime.
Yutan will inbound here. Obviously, Ponca looking for a quick steal if they can get it. Not able to do so. Tim fouled yet again. That time fouled by Zach Furnow, the sophomore, who's just checked in for the Indians. And once again, Brady Tim heading right back to the free throw line, where he has spent the majority of this second half and then the 2 overtime periods.
I'll total up his free throws a little bit later.
It's getting almost too many to count for Brady Tim, as he has been the constant here for the Yutan Chieftains. The steady shot by the junior Tim, as he continues to tack on point after point. Misses that one. Yutan, though, still leads 62-56. Mason up the floor. Off balance 3 from the corner. Won't fall. Yutan pulls down the board. Peterson is fouled by Mason. Well, that will pretty much do it, as the Yutan Chieftains, amazingly, Randy, are going to survive this double overtime game after facing a deficit in that second half. For a lot of that second half, Yutan battles its way back into this one, forces overtime off an unbelievable shot by Colby Takota, and they'll be rewarded with a semifinal berth to take on GICC.
Mason's going to foul out of the ball game with that, with 7 points.
Peterson hits the first just to continue to tack on to this Yutan lead.
And by the way, Brady Tim, 15 of 19 in the second half.
Unbelievable performance by Tim. Unbelievable game between these two teams as Yutan advances in the Class C2 state tournament with a 63-56 double overtime victory over the Ponca Indians. A fantastic game here on News Channel Nebraska, but we're not done yet, as we have post-game coverage coming up for you here from Lincoln Southeast High School. We'll be back with that post-game coverage as you're watching High School Hoops on NCN.
Trains are doing better than cars right now.
Over 2 months. Scooters, our extension impact throughout the roughly a young industry and the challenges.
To the semifinal round of the Class C2 state tournament. Randy Brown is now standing by courtside with our winning head coach. Let's go now to Randy Brown with our post-game interviews.
Post-game interviews here. We got Coach Justin Peterson. And Coach, I'm not so sure I know how to describe that game.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be a battle with Ponca. They're an extremely well-coached team, and they play hard. And we've had battles with them the last 3-4 years, so nothing's new. And yeah, that was fun.
0.6 seconds left. You don't have much time to do anything, and you got it done.
Yeah, Joel Pleskotch throws just a beautiful pass. Colby, bless him for being 6'6", and catching it and shooting it, baby. That's all it took. So.
Well, you got to move on. Grand Island Central Catholic tomorrow, so the task doesn't get any easier.
No, C2 is absolutely loaded this year, so we knew every round is gonna take everything we have. We're just blessed to be able to play again. So we'll get home, we'll get the scout done, and we'll move on.
And talk about this guy from the Lion here in the second half.
Yeah, Brady that's just what he does. Maybe didn't have the best first half, and he comes back in the second half, and that's when champions are their best, and that's when he is his best. So we're blessed to have him, and I'll take him for another year after this. So we're good with that.
Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Joined by our player of the game, Brady Tim, and 19 points, 15 of 19 from the free throw line in the second half. And when you get to the end of a game and going into overtime, those are important points, and you were able to knock them down.
Yeah, all year long, my dad always preached to me making free throws is a winning player move. So I always, every time I go to the gym, it's always shoot 50 to 100 free throws every time. So it comes in handy in these kind of games, those moments.
You're not shooting threes, you're shooting free throws.
I mean, a little bit of both. You got to do a little bit of both. But, you know, I didn't give me three-point opportunities this game. So free
throw line and
are their best, and that's when he is his best. So we're blessed to have him, and I'll take him for another year after this. So we're good with that.
Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Joined by our player of the game, Brady Tim, and 19 points. Half.
Yeah, Brady that's just what he does. Maybe didn't have the best first half, and he comes back in the second half, and that's when champions are their best, and that's when he is his best. So we're blessed to have him, and I'll take him for another year after this. So we're good with that.
Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Joined by our player of the game, Brady Tim, and 19 points, 15 of 19 from the free throw line in the second half. And when you get to the end of a game and going into overtime, those are important points, and you were able to knock them down.
Yeah, all year long, my dad always preached to me making free throws is a winning player move. So I always, every time I go to the gym, it's always shoot 50 to 100 free throws every time. So it comes in handy in these kind of games, those moments.
You're not shooting threes, you're shooting free throws.
I mean, a little bit of both. You got to do a little bit of both. But, you know, I didn't give me three-point opportunities this game, so free throws counted.
Great game. You're our player of the game.
Thank you.
Good luck the rest of the way, and good luck against Grand Island Central Catholic tomorrow. We'll see you over at Devaney.
All right, thank you.
Back to you, Alex.
Thank you very much, Randy. Great job talking with Justin Peterson, the U10 head coach, as well as Brady Tim, our player of the game. 19 points, all coming between the second half and the two overtime periods. 15 of those points coming from the free throw line, and U10 needed every one of those 15 points from the foul line as the Chieftains advance to the semifinal round to take on Ponca, or to take on GICC rather, after defeating Ponca 63-56. Let's take a look now at the top plays from this quarterfinal matchup presented to you today by Valley Vet. Class C2 quarterfinals. The number 4 U10 Chieftains taking on the number 5 Ponca Indians, as these two teams battled back and forth in an incredible matchup here, and there were so many top plays that we could show you, but we have to condense this down at some point. Trey Knutson starting the game off on the right foot for the U10 Chieftains, hitting that runner off the glass to get U10 up in the early goings 2-0. But then Ponca would answer back. Nice play on the inbound. The pass from Carter Kingsbury to Brandon Kneifel for the score, as the baskets would be traded back and forth throughout the opening quarter. Brady Tim, the drive and kick out for a 3 to Colby Tricota. Tricota had 8 points in that opening quarter to help the Chieftains out to a 4-point advantage. Following the frame, the 3 answered on the other side by Paul Mason, as these two teams continued to battle with one another. Colby Tricota hits that basket off the glass. We head now to the second quarter with U10 up by 3. Mason gets the loose ball, scores that basket off the glass. Ponca down by just 1 following the first half. Now in the third quarter, Ponca would really start to put together an advantage. Caden Phillips hits that turnaround shot in the lane as Ponca led by as many as 6 at points in the second half. Great block there by Trey Knutson to turn away the drive by the Indians. And the floater would fall in for Brady Tim, the junior, doing a fantastic job in the second half to keep U10 in the game. Kingsbury comes away with the block there of Dakota. And then on the other end, that basket scored by Brandon Kneifel. He had 18 points on the day to lead the way for Ponca. Now in the fourth quarter, Indians lead by 4. Knutson splits the difference, goes through the lane, and lays that one up and in to cut the lead to 2. We have a tie ball game here at this point. The free throw knocked down by Brady Tim. It is a tie ball game, and that 3 knocked down from the corner by Caden Phillips to give Ponca a 3-point lead. But then with 0.6 seconds on the clock, it would be Colby Dakota with the catch-and-shoot 3 to tie the game at 49 all to send it to overtime. An unbelievable shot by the senior Dakota. Now in the overtime period, the runner goes for Brandon Kneifel, and then both teams with opportunities at the foul line to take a lead, but both would go just 1 out of 2 on those trips as Briar Bennett hits that shot there for Ponca. On the other side to be Brady Tim hitting that shot to tie the game at 52 all, and we go to double overtime. The runner falls in for Trey Knutson to give Yutan the lead, and the Chieftains would start to build up an advantage in double overtime. Samuel Peterson off the pass there banks that one in, and then Peterson closes this game down at the foul line, misses that shot, but the Chieftains still hang on to earn a 63-56 double overtime victory to advance to the Class C2 semifinal round. Again, those top plays presented to you today by Valley Vet. 63-56 is your final as the Yutan Chieftains, for the second consecutive year, defeat the Ponca Indians in the Class C2 state tournament. Yutan, the 4 seed, now moves on to take on the top-seeded Grand Island Central Catholic Crusaders in the Class C2 semifinals tomorrow in a game that will start right at about 7 o'clock p.m. from the Bob Devaney Sports Center here on News Channel Nebraska. As our post-game coverage today is brought to you by Pinnacle Bank of Beatrice. They're proud to be a part of your community, and they're committed to bringing you banking the way it should be. Pinnacle Bank of Beatrice, member FDIC. So an incredible way to cap off our afternoon session here at Lincoln Southeast High School. But amazingly, folks, we are not done yet with our coverage of the Class C2 quarterfinal round, as coming up later on today, right at about 7 o'clock, myself and Randy Brown will be back for more C2 quarterfinals. First up,